Welcome to Tailgate Update with the usual suspects, Julie Miller, Ryan Besaw. I'm Jay Moffitt. Glad to have you with us tonight. This is episode 55, otherwise known as the Sammy Hagar episode. We're really excited to get there, to make it all the way to the double nickel. Okay, and we're not to the Super Bowl time yet, but we are ramping up towards the playoffs. So we're really psyched about football. I think we're going to spend most of our time on football today. But anyway, we're going to start with one of the world's most respected motorsports. I'm going to throw it to Julie to talk about the F1 race that went on this weekend.
Jeez, way to preface that for me. No pressure at all. So, I've only caught Formula One before, their clips, okay? But this time we had it on the TV, watch the laps. I did not finish it because once I realized there was 50 laps, I was like, sir, that is a kind of time commitment that I'm not ready for. So I watched the beginning and the end, because 50 laps around and around and around and around, and between 20 and 40, anything could really happen, but it doesn't feel hugely impactful. Also, and I know it is, I watched Gran Turismo. I think I've mentioned that before, and they had that accident where the car goes up in flames. And so the entire time I'm a very anxious person, and so I was kind of constantly panicking that one of the cars was going to hit the side and there was going to be flames. So it was it was a lot of anxiety for me. So it was I don't think I could do 50 rounds of that kind of pressure. But anyways, as we know, it's all so it seems to me, it seems like it's more so the brand of the car. First off, everybody knows who's gonna win, and then or at least be in the top. And then also it's certain car brands are the winning brands, and then they pick the best drivers, so then they win. But apparently some cars are more gifted and lasting 50 rounds. And every single thing matters. We talked about this in the true crime segment quite a bit with Red Bull and kind of their controversies. And then also we talked about, I believe it was IndyCar, and they had the thing where they could have more gas in the car or something, or the throttle, they could pick up extra speed faster. And so there's very technical rules about when you can accelerate, how fast you can accelerate, and every second matters. So it's very intense, because if you have to go off the side because your tire's falling off, it could happen at any moment, and that's and the pit crew has to be the fastest. So it's just it's understood that certain brands are going to be on the top, and their cars are the best prepared for 50 rounds, and they're going 100 miles per hour or something like that, 50 times around, and it was pretty funny when there was trash on one of the cars that was from the street, because they're no, literally people were driving on this earlier today, and so there was still trash on the street, and they're well, guess the crew forgot that part when they were getting everybody prepared, and it was actually stuck to one of the cars. So that was rather amusing. Unsurprising to anyone, the first two were Mercedes, the second two were Ferrari, and the last one was Red Bull, and it was Russell and Lewis Hamilton, the Lewis Hamilton, for first and second, Sainz Jr. and Leclerc for the Ferraris, and Max Verstappen, everybody's favorite player ever, for Red Bull at fifth. So really no surprises there, but that's a little summary from a very novice Formula One watcher, and I will remain this way.
Yeah, my thoughts are pretty much the same as yours. I don't think I've ever watched more than 2 or 3 laps at the beginning. I might watch the last 5 or 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an amazing sport, how talented they have to be as a driver. But like you said, the technicalities of it are, you have to really be into it to enjoy it. The people that enjoy it really enjoy it, and a lot of people just you
Well,
know.
I appreciate the intricacies because, again, I can't really get into how detailed it is, but like what kind of gas you use, exactly what kind of tires, like all of that is magnified when you're talking about this sport. And it just made me annoyed more when I heard that, the guy who runs it or whatever doesn't want them to swear in the car. Like because you can hear their video, you can hear their audio.
Hmm.
Like, because he's quite, I don't know. But anyway, he does. And I'm like, do you see how fast they're going for how long? Let them say whatever the hell they want and bleep it.
That
I was
makes
like, when I saw what they actually do in person, I was like, oh, shut up. That's
wow.
that's a lot. Like, I want to see you in the car and see what you say because that looks stressful. And I have heard that the pressure on the drivers is kind of immense, like, gravity and those kind of forces, that kind of
That
physics.
that makes
It's,
sense. Julie,
yes.
thanks so much. I'm gonna try to catch a little bit of the F1 the next time that they have a race on at like a decent hour, I guess. Uh,
That's a good
Ryan,
point.
I know that they've been having some of the postseason awards in baseball, some other things happening. Could you give us a little bit of your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So AL and NL Cy Young Award winners were announced. Chris Sale of the Atlanta Braves took home the NL, and Tarek Skubal took home the AL for the Tigers. Chris Sale, 18-3 on the year, 2.38 ERA, 225 Ks, 1.01 WHIP, and 177 and two-thirds inning pitch. Skubal, 18-4, 2.39 ERA, 228 Ks, 0.92 WHIP, and 192 innings pitched. That's both of them finished within the top three in wins, ERA, Ks, and Sale finished sixth in WHIP, but Skubal finished second in WHIP.
Wow.
Yeah. So the two best pitchers, obviously, all year long, Sale, Skubal. No debate on who was getting Cy Young this year. As for the MVPs, we all know who the MVPs are going to be going into the World Series. Aaron Judge takes home second straight AL MVP. Shohei Ohtani takes home the NL MVP, his
Mm.
third MVP, and he joins, I want to say, Frank Robinson as the only player to win the MVP in both leagues.
Wow.
Yeah. First player ever also to join the 50-50 club, which we talked about earlier uh, last month, I believe. So, MLB officially closed for the 2024 season,
Okay.
and the winter meetings will be coming up in a couple of weeks. I think the 7th of December is when they start.
You know where they hold it? Sometimes they hold it in Nashville, I know, but
They
it
held it
does,
in Vegas a couple years ago.
that makes sense too. Yeah.
I, off the top of my head, I don't know the location of the winter meetings this year,
Okay.
but
It's always someplace you'd like to go, though. Always.
yeah. We also have some news out of Tampa Bay.
Okay.
The Rays Tropicana Field roof
Ah,
is being repaired after St. Petersburg approves $23 million repair. Uh, the goal is to have the field ready by 2026, so they won't be playing there in 2025. Tropicana
wow.
Field is no bueno. No. So the team made a deal to play at the Yankees spring training field for 2025. It's located across the bay from Tropicana Field. I believe it's called Steinbrenner Field.
Mm.
So it's kind of slap in the face for Rays players. Get to play the Yankees, and then they have to play at Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Mm.
Hmm,
So,
that's
yep.
wild.
So I heard that Tropicana Field also had water damage, like severe water damage, as well as the roof being torn off.
Right.
How much water damage can a field have?
From a
It's
hurricane? Oh, gee, I don't know,
yeah.
Julie.
What are you saying? Like that?
I really don't know.
Like water is a natural thing in fields. Did it? Uh,
No, it's
what
not a
was
natural thing in fields. Tropicana Field? No,
like?
that was turf.
Yeah, but I mean it. I mean, obviously it's a little rain more than usual. But what can't you fix? Like
I'm assuming there's
If
damage in
hurricanes
locker
rolled through and
rooms.
you couldn't use the fields anymore, then like you know how many states wouldn't be able to have stadiums for anything?
I don't exactly
Louisiana, Texas, they would never have a stadium that worked if a
ever.
hurricane made it unusable.
You're right.
So I
I'm
just
not
don't
exactly
understand.
sure what the damages were. I just know there was water damage from what I heard.
I'm not a meteorologist, but I was just going to add on about the fact that storm surge, there'd be a lot of maybe salt water,
Mm,
which would be unusual.
mm.
And also, if it's flood damage, there would be all the, sewage backup, uh, disease-ridden
Ew.
things,
Yeah, but that's just what you deal
animals
with.
killed. I mean, there would be animals killed in a hurricane.
Yes, there is.
So, I mean,
And it smells rough afterwards, but those are all
right.
the things you're going to deal with that every single season. Even if it's not a huge hurricane, you're still going to have minor hurricanes in a lot of places, at least.
I
Um,
don't know, Julie.
I've
I
been
don't
in
know.
some pretty rough hurricane torn areas, and I have seen, I mean, the fields are usually the least of anybody's concerns, and they just are usually fine. And there's not like a ton of dead animals everywhere, Jay, unless you have like Katrina or something. But, and there's also not huge sewer, I mean,
Eh,
a little bit here and there, but it's not like it's a giant toilet either, like
Okay.
ever that I can
sh-
remember. But
Jeez,
But
like,
Jay.
this one was one of the five worst hurricanes on record. It's the biggest one since Andrew in like 92.
wow.
And like me and Ryan were talking about 30 years ago, there was like there's like one Major League Baseball team in Florida. And now there's like what,
Yeah.
five? So
Right.
it's like right there a couple of miles from the shore,
Right. And I'm
maybe
not saying
20.
like that it's
Yeah.
not a big deal. I'm just saying like it should be whatever it is should be fixable with like a bad hurricane and a moderate hurricane. I can't imagine that the effects would be that significant. You're gonna have to do some field repair, okay? Like
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't exactly know what the damages were. I just know there was severe water damage and
Maybe they meet, well,
such.
no, that wouldn't make sense either.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
I agree with you, Julie, that a whole year does seem extreme because it was
Yeah.
the off season and you've
Right,
got
like you can fix it.
4 months, right?
When you
As
live in
as
those areas, you get used to knowing how
when
to
you
resolve things.
when you're paying billion-dollar contracts to people,
Yeah.
a 20 or $30 million grant from a city seems like pretty minuscule. When you're going to have to go to an entirely different field, entirely different location,
Yeah.
stage everything differently for a whole year because you can't get together in 4 months and you have to get together in 16 months. I agree that
Yeah, if it was weeks
something
or a
says a little
month, I would
weird. Yeah.
see. Because
Yeah. Yeah, I
when
could
you have
see
to
that.
repair an entire area, even if you have money, there's just not always the supplies and the people there that can repair it as fast
Yeah.
as you would like. But if you have all that time, surely you have time to get the resources in because all of a sudden all of your resources are running out. Like um gone. Okay, like you're trying to re-roof houses, so there's a shortage of, I don't know, shingles. So like these are things that happen to everybody. There's not enough people working to like the construction is intense.
Yeah.
So I get that. But if you have months on months,
Yeah.
what in the hell did it get swept away? Like
Yeah.
it's not a tornado where it
Oh
just gets
yeah,
picked up.
I promise you, Julie, I will get you the particulars on this.
I
I kind
want
of
the
I'm kind
details.
of I'm kind of a hurricane fanatic, so I know a lot more about hurricanes than you would think, the like a normal average person. So
Yeah, I'm just
I'll get the
concerned that you think that there's dead animals and sewage floating after. It's not quite that bad.
on a hurricane that was like the third worst damage in U.S. history. Yeah, there's lots of bad things
Yeah,
going on. So, but
right.
yeah, I'll get you the stats on it, and you can
Yeah.
see why it might be an 18-month thing. But I do want to ask Ryan about the hockey that's rolling up now, the NHL. We're finally getting into it.
Okay. I thought you were like talking about like something big was happening. But anyways, in the NHL, Alexander Ovechkin's chase for greatness is put on hold for at least 4 weeks. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured fibula.
Oh no.
27 goals from the record, and that's going to be put on hold for a couple months.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think it would take a while for a broken leg to heal. A month? What in the
Yeah.
hell? They acting like it's a fingernail. It's his leg is broken.
Yeah, it's 4 to 6.
These people are
Yeah.
crazy.
Those are the words no hockey player wants to hear. 4 to 6. Nobody wants to hear it. But he's out 4 to 6.
It's
So
got
for
to be
now,
actually longer than that because you can't put a man out with a half broken leg, like a healing broken leg, can you? Is that what happens? Do y'all know about sports in general? If people put people out with broken legs, like, is that a thing that I'm
in
missing?
the AHL, in the NHL, they kind of let them play through whatever. Like guys are playing on torn MCLs, ACLs,
Yeah.
broken feet, whatever.
Yeah, but a broken leg is a pretty big one.
Yeah, it's
You kind of
a
need
big
your
one.
legs a lot.
Yeah,
Some broken things like fingers, hands, toes, maybe feet, like, but a leg, and also it's really easy to re-injure that if somebody runs into you. Like, it's kind
that's
of a big part of your
exactly
body.
that's exactly how he broke it. Somebody ran into him.
Yep, so, I mean, do you want to re-break that when you're in the
Yeah.
healing process? I don't understand.
So the great one remains on top for a couple more months.
I feel like this was so,
somebody took over.
somebody's protecting the record is all I'm gonna say.
You're not breaking Gretz's record,
Yep,
but
taking care of business. They gave him a couple thou for that.
Bounty Gate in the NHL now.
Yep.
So Carolina Hurricanes goalie Frederick Anderson to miss 8 to 12 weeks after knee surgery. He's been missing time for the last month, I believe.
We're probably waiting for it to heal.
Yeah. So that was actually the original plan. They're going to wait to see if it healed, and then he just
Oh my
let's
god,
get
that's
surgery.
scary. The NFL used to do that in like the 80s. And then we realized that you get necrotic tissue, like with Bo. And then if you had just gotten the surgery sooner, it wouldn't have happened. And that's why you're supposed to go for surgery right away. But what do I know? The NHL is like in the 80s or some shit.
Well, I think he was like week to week for a while.
Yeah,
And,
that sounds about right.
It was just announced earlier this week he's going to be out for 8-12. I don't know if you guys heard about this one, but the referee that got knocked out during a Avalanche game, he collided with Avs defenseman Josh Manson. Expected to make a full recovery. He's home now and can make a full recovery.
Well, last week we were talking about that one huge injury that we watched.
Which one?
Well, we watched it. We only watched one injury for the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Darnell Nurse hit.
Yeah. Is he all right?
As far as I know, yeah.
And the NHL version of all right.
He was out 5 to 10, so I think he's close to the end of that, I believe. So
yeah, that was rough, Jay. We watched some biggest hits last week.
Biggest hit.
Okay.
Well, we had some combat sports too.
Oh yeah. We had a liver shot, and then we had a headshot.
Yeah, we watched the spleen.
Yeah, I don't know if you had time to watch Jay, but last week we did watch some dude get his head taken off with a cross check. So
yeah. That'll be one of our new segments, the biggest hits of this sport.
Yeah.
No,
we're gonna call it Hall of Pain. That's what we're gonna call it.
Despite being a huge true crime person and not having any sort of squeamishness with extreme gore, I still find it difficult to physically watch people get maimed. I'm just used to seeing it afterwards, so it's just not really my vibe.
That might actually be a good segment idea. Hall of Pain, I like that. All right.
Oh god.
So are we gonna move on to the NFL?
The body part that they hit always hurts.
How about the basketball?
Basketball. What's going on in basketball? Anything good?
Not really.
Joel Embiid. We skipped it.
No, Joel Embiid is missing a lot of games.
That's to be expected.
He had that Bell's palsy. Like, that's a good way of your body saying chill.
Settle down.
He's doing load management, and NBA is not too amused. But things are just kind of rolling up. A lot of a lot of kind of fines coming down for tactical fouls, for saying little slurs here and there on post game interviews.
Oof.
Excuse
You
me?
know,
Hey man, slurs are always gonna get you
yeah.
some finage.
I think it was I'm not going to say the name again, but an NBA player was fined for saying no during a post
Oh
game interview.
god.
It's been 2 or 3 years since I've heard that.
At
I haven't heard
least.
that since I was in like middle school.
Yeah, a hundred grand.
Yeah, you not only do you get the fine for saying that, you get the fine for saying something that people haven't said since 2000.
Yeah,
That's a
Like
street cred fine. That's a minus two.
street cred. Yeah.
exactly. Like
Like I said to Jay
But
earlier, I'm not talking anymore. You're muted. Minus 2 points.
I know it was despicable. Yeah,
yeah,
but I
like
mean, can
nobody
you?
was thinking that, and even if it was, who cares? So like the term is obviously old fashioned and inappropriate, but I
Yeah,
mean, get with the times.
Old
How
yeah.
fashioned.
old is this person?
I mean, it's Lamelo, but it's
Oh yes, I remember. Yeah, yeah, Lamelo. Yeah. Well,
Is he
look who
like
his
50?
family is.
Like who says
no.
that?
I don't know, but I agree with you. It should be $100,000 from the NBA, and the local community should make him pay $50,000 for some community shelter or something
Yeah,
for street cred.
make him volunteer.
For street cred.
Street cred fine, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that was about all that was going on. College basketball, there's nothing much going on yet.
Nothing. Yeah.
Sh yeah, shout out Memphis Tigers for taking down number one Connecticut. My
Beautiful.
my alma mater beat and of course appropriately Dan Hurley got a tactical foul which helped contribute to the loss for Connecticut. So that made it even
Wait,
sweeter.
isn't that the dude that turned down the Lakers after
That
said
is the
he?
dude.
Yeah, we talked about him. I recognize the name.
Yeah, yeah.
What a bum.
But
Get out of here.
that's
Get
a
out of here.
that's about it. That's about it as far as basketball. There's nothing much happening of interest too much. But
No,
I know Ryan and Julie has some thoughts as far as college football.
I have none, but
Julie, you always have none, Julie.
yeah, look, I only have time for one kind of football, okay?
Okay, well, listen. Good news. Alabama lost to unranked Oklahoma, which all but seals their fate from getting into the college football playoffs. And it was a blowout
Yes.
loss too, so that's even more embarrassing. Jalen Milroe threw 3 interceptions. I saw he got murdered on one of them. That was yeah. Also want to talk about something. Sanders. Oh, I don't remember how to pronounce his name. Shamir Sanders, I think his name is.
Shadur, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the hit he took against Kansas this week?
No, I didn't see the hit.
He released the ball and he took like 3 steps, and the defender launched at his kneecap.
Oh,
Luckily, he wasn't hurt, but and
Good
then
thing it
he's
wasn't the NHL because they put him back out there. Don't worry
no,
about
he
your legs.
hit him right in the knee, no flag, and then later in the game he pushes the ref. After temperature flaring, he pushed the ref for some unknown reason.
yeah.
It was just a bad game for Colorado all around, and it just tempers are flaring. But right now we have the top 10 rankings that just came out on Sunday, as they do every week. We're still waiting on the college football playoff rankings to come out for this week. Right now we have Oregon undefeated 11-0. Pretty simple choice for number one in the nation. OSU, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, all at 10-1. The top 4 went nowhere, stayed the same, straight line. Notre Dame goes up 1-5. Georgia 9-2, sitting at 6. They went up 2. Tennessee sitting at 7 at 9-2. They went up 3. Miami at 10-1 went up 3. Just beat Wake Forest handily, 42-14. Something they should have done a long time ago to these unranked teams that they've been playing all year long. Which is very irritating. Cam Ward just broke Bernie Kosar's record for most passing yards in a single season. SMU goes up 4-9. They're sitting at 10-1. It's looking like SMU and Miami might be playing in the ACC championship game. And Indiana dropped to 10 in the nation. Went 5 spots down after losing 10-1 on the year. Dropped 5. So that's our top 10 in the nation. What do we think? Any overreactions?
It sounds pretty fair. I mean, I could have dropped Indiana a little bit further down because they legitimately have not played anybody before that.
See,
You know,
I thought that was going to happen to Miami when they lost to. I don't remember who they lost to. Some scrub that was unranked.
yeah,
They hadn't
unranked,
played
yeah,
it. They hadn't played anybody all year long as a ranked team,
yeah.
and they lost. And it was never really a game. They were shut down on
Hmm.
all phases of the game. Couldn't stop anybody on the run. So I think it was Georgia Tech that beat them actually.
Yeah. Georgia
So
Tech is unranked, but they've been strong at times.
so Miami dropped from 4 to I think 12.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
figured they
right.
dropped. I figured they dropped at least 2 more spots than that. But what do I know? I don't know anything about the rankings. I'm just a guy that reports on.
But yeah,
But we have
I
a
agree.
thousand subscribers. So like we're
Beautiful.
actually the cool kids
It's
now forever and always.
so
I know.
exciting.
We're in
Thanks
the
everybody that
1K
clicked that
club.
button.
We're in the
Literally, we've made
1K
it to a
club.
thousand, and we couldn't do it without our fans. We love y'all. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
all.
much. Oh my god, we made it to
We're the Derrick Henrys of YouTube now.
1,000. Okay,
1Ks.
1K.
that's
That's
us.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say my only thing with the college football before we turn to the important business of pro football, which is why we're here and why like probably 9% of the people that watch us are here. I'm guessing.
No, they
'Cause
come from my Formula One. We know this.
Settle
well,
down.
I love how you raced to get that in there, Julie. Uh, anyway, I was going to say the SEC overreaction to me is the fact that probably when the college football comes out of the 12 teams, the SEC just feels that they're entitled to 5 or 6 of the 12 spots,
Oh.
and they will
Oh,
literally have 3 teams in of these 12, and they'll be
undeservingly.
whining. Yeah, and they'll be whining all week because um,
Yeah.
Tennessee with 2 losses will be in, and then Georgia and Texas. And I mean, you can talk about,
Well,
you know, you talk about Indiana having a soft schedule. Texas has missed pretty much all the big boys. The only big boy they played, Alabama, just took them to the barn. You
didn't
know,
they play Michigan too?
they did, but Indiana got their rankings from beating Michigan, and same thing Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Michigan hadn't proved to be much this particular year.
Yeah.
So, but Notre Dame is, in my mind, very slept on because, I mean, they are usually beating these, 4-6, 5-5 teams and everything. And like in the last 3 weeks, they've beaten an undefeated Army team by
Yeah.
like 5 touchdowns and came around and beat an undefeated Navy team by like 6 or 6. I mean, it's crazy. These are the teams that usually give
So
give Notre Dame fits.
Notre Dame really didn't really care if you were in armed forces. They just said you get a loss, you get a loss.
Yeah, they did what they were supposed to do,
Yeah.
They did what Alabama and Ohio State were doing 5 and 10 years ago to the scrub teams.
Oh, you
But
mean like Mercer?
Alabama, yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
But anyway, yeah,
The,
that's all I've got to go on. I'm thinking in a week or two they'll figure out a way for the SEC to have 4 in the 12.
well, the 30th is the last day of the season for the regular season, right?
Right.
Then bowl week or the conference championship weeks
Yeah.
start
It'll be
the following week.
Georgia and Texas probably, unless Texas A&M
More than likely, yeah.
pulls a strong upset over Texas.
Yeah, it's more than likely going to be that.
Yeah, but Texas has 2 quarterbacks better than Texas A&M's 1 quarterback. So
When's the
there
last
been
time Oregon was number 1 in the nation?
Mariota maybe.
Was it?
Yeah,
But
I'm
I feel like
thinking.
it was going back to the days of like Dennis Dixon.
Oh, that's a long time
That's a
ago.
long
Yeah,
time ago. That was like
I think 8 or 10 years
2010.
ago with Mariota. Yeah, yeah, 2010 something like that.
Makes sense.
Uh, but anyway, yeah. Unless you got something else, Ryan. I think we're ready for the for the curtain
Uh,
for the drop the curtain on the big show, the National Football League. You got
well,
anything else on college?
the only thing I really have kind of ties into the NFL.
Okay, well,
So Travis Hunter,
built in, yeah.
Mr. Dion 2.0 over here, he's going to enter the draft this year as a junior.
Hmm.
He's definitely entering the draft in 2025, trading in his Colorado jersey for, oh dear Lord, I hope it's not the Giants. Because it's looking like the Giants are getting the one pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even I know who Travis Hunter is, and I don't
Well,
watch.
it's hard not to know who he is. I mean, he's a stud on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so he's
Well,
entering
that's
the
big
draft.
news.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not the Giants, because that's just going to be a waste of talent. Speaking of the Giants, Danny Dimes is no longer.
I know.
Danny Two Nickels is gone.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because I feel like it's very unusual for a team to let go of a player mid-season like this. Like, I could see you riding the bench for the rest of the season, or maybe getting traded, which would be rather unusual, but the idea of just getting rid of him altogether, it sounds like a mutual decision, but is that not super odd, or am I just imagining?
Well, he actually asked for his release.
Right, and
he was dropped from starting role to third string and then fourth string. So like he was behind Cutlets, Block, and I don't even know who.
Yeah.
And he wasn't content making his, I think it was like 23 million if he stayed healthy, just staying on the bench.
Yeah, like, so, that feels so weird to me. Like, just, I feel like every other quarterback would at least wait out the season.
I don't know. It says he wants to eye a playoff contender. I guess he got his one taste of playoff success and wanted more, even though he didn't really do anything.
So is he planning on going to another team mid-season without, like...
Well, he clears waivers today. So he clears waivers, and it's going to cost any team for the remainder of the season, which is like, what, 7 games? Or 6 games or something like that?
Yeah, depending on if they have a bye.
$12 million right off the top, regardless.
Yeah. Like, I would probably just hang tight. Like, it's embarrassing and everything, but so was your play for the entire season. What's new?
What's new, Scooby-Doo? I don't know.
You've been humiliated the entire season. Like, you've been booed out of your out of your stadium every single time you played at home. Like, what's the difference?
Do you realize that would be 120 million dimes?
Did you just calculate that in your head for some unknown reason?
Yeah, yes, it came to me. $12 million would be 120 million dimes.
And he would still not be able to throw any of them in the correct direction.
Well, he threw them in the correct direction, just not to the correct team.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. But that feels like the ultimate diva move. Am I imagining that? Like, it
maybe.
Feels...
There are other people. I remember Russell Wilson, had asked, I believe, I may be misremembering this, but I believe it was, had asked to be released once he got dropped as the starter. And they just said, no way, just sit on the end of the
Denver.
bench.
In Denver, yeah.
They said, just sit on the end of the bench. Says, we're not going to drop you. And I mean, you drop somebody, they might go to a conference rival. They might go to a division rival,
Yeah.
Well,
and him and I feel like asking for a release and demanding one can be a bit different. And then also, him and the head coach, Sean Payton, were like cats and dogs, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be like, can I get the out of here? Because, so I can kind of see that. But if he was dramatic enough to force it, then I would have thoughts about that. I feel like
the thing with Denver, though, they didn't want to release him because they were going to owe him like a certain amount of money, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is too with the Giants, everyone was in pins and needles from the coach to the general manager who was, I mean, let go this week.
Say hi, Doop.
Everyone
Oh
was
my god.
trying to everyone was trying to keep their job
Yeah,
in New York. You didn't want one other group of people, all the I mean, all the Danny Dimes lovers out there to be
yeah,
piling on to you. You just want to, okay, go hit the road, just shut up and don't say anything bad about us
I
route,
guess.
Pretty
you
much,
know?
yeah.
And because that coach is probably not going to make it past the end of the season anyway, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Dable is in
I
a sore situation right now.
is it not? I feel like it wouldn't be that hugely. That's why I mean, like, didn't Devontae say trade me and then they did? Like, I feel like that's not unusual for teams to for them to trade people mid-season. People are unhappy with what's going on. This happens, but you don't get released and not signed to a different team and just leave. That's weird.
I agree with you. I mean, even the Titans, they had Malik Willis, and
Yeah.
they at least got like a seventh round draft pick for a guy that they spent a third round draft pick on.
That
You
might
get
even been too
something
high.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah, you do not just let them go. Like nobody does that. And again, you might request a trade. This happens quite a bit. But and it could happen during midseason. This happens, but to just gone. Like
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with the fact that he had a contract that was given to him after one playoff win.
yeah.
That happens
He
in the
was given
NFL.
$45
Yeah.
million,
Yeah.
where Saquon was given nothing, and they
Okay.
let him walk. So no one's going to trade for that contract. He had like so much money left on that
Well, I get
contract.
that, but then
No
it
one's going to
just
trade for that.
Yeah.
to follow the norms of the sport, then he would just ride the bench for the rest of the season. I
Yeah.
get why somebody wouldn't trade for him, but you don't just let people go like that.
Yeah.
Well, he
I
I
was
agree
either
with you.
he was either getting let go now or get let go in the
which
offseason.
which is when you're supposed to do it. At
Yeah.
the end of the
Either
season,
way, he was
Yeah.
gone. Either way,
that's
he's
when you
gone.
do it. Is at the end of the season. You don't
Yeah.
just do this stuff mid-season. You wait till the end.
Okay, so the
Okay.
Giants are in a bit of a dumpster fire situation. They
Yeah.
don't
I
need
was
any more
supposed to say,
distractions.
Julie, can you guess to this week's highlights and stuff about what we'll talk about? I mean, I've spent more time on Danny Dimes than I ever thought I would in my life,
Now,
so
if
I'm
if
done
you
with them.
think if you think this is drama, I got a little more drama for you
Okay.
before we get to the review for Week 12. The
Okay.
Jets drama, the New York Jets. All right, this seems to be like a New York thing, a Jersey thing, whatever. The owner of the Jets suggested benching Aaron Rodgers after Week 4 loss,
Yes.
and also he says he wants to play next year, but not for the Jets. Time well spent. Attaboy.
Well, we have seen that sometimes a quarterback going from one team to another can be a dumpster fire, like Russell Wilson that we mentioned, and then they can go to another team, and you're like, oh my God, there's Russ I always knew. Uh, although older and not quite as mobile, but like the same vibe, right?
Getting
You're
the
like
job done.
you can see the glimmers of the talent. You remember why you you can see. So like Aaron Rodgers might just be struggling in New York because it's a dumpster fire and not like he might still have something left, is what I'm saying.
That's yeah.
It's hard to believe that, but it could be true because we've seen it.
I think it's a culture problem.
Yeah.
Both New York teams have a wicked culture problem.
And he's so sensitive to like his environment and like his feelings and stuff. Like he's so in tune with like nature and all that
Well,
that like if he's not feeling fulfilled in that environment, like he might just be kind of shut down. I don't know.
he got McCarthy fired in Green Bay.
Yeah. He's a force to be reckoned with. Okay.
He's a lot to deal with, and you think as you age, you might become a little more tactful, I suppose. He still seems arrogant as he did when he was like 25.
Yeah, some
I
people just get more because especially when you get more popular and stuff, you have the
Oh, he was
ability
a
to be.
god in Green Bay.
Yeah, so
he
like some
he
people do chill out with age, and some people get a bigger ego, and and their filter breaks over time. I
I
mean,
was
by the time
I,
you're 70,
yeah.
everybody's filter is broken, right? But
But the thing about it is, with JJ McCarthy, he got him fired most likely, but um, he kind of looked redeemed with the way McCarthy was in Dallas.
hmm
Uh,
It did make him look like a genius, but it looked like that Aaron Rodgers had some good points.
yeah.
Man, I really
Uh,
don't know what to make of that McCarthy thing in Dallas. I really don't.
yeah,
Like, he doesn't have a
but
good quarterback,
let's
so
see.
like,
Um,
I'm going to let Julie get to our games.
yeah,
Enough drama.
because we could talk about New York culture for forever. I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about some of the biggest injuries of week 12,
Okay.
not counting Monday. But it's all ankle, shoulders, and brains. The Washington Commanders, Brian Robinson Jr. had an ankle injury, and he re-aggravated it twice. He he had the injury and then re-aggravated it, and then so he's obviously a big deal for the Commanders. And then Eckler got one of those helmet to helmet hits that we used to see in the 70s.
oh my
And
god, he was knocked out.
yeah, he had to go to the local hospital. Um and so he has a concussion, unsurprisingly. Um so the Commanders are struggling. Over in Detroit, David Montgomery, um it was his shoulder. He has a messed up shoulder, but he should be back on Thursday. So
Oh, just in time for Thanksgiving. Okay.
yes, hopefully. Gardner Minshew has a season-ending shoulder injury. Um, maybe Vegas will sign Danny Dimes. Um,
Seems risky.
he has a broken collarbone.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, talk about more bad news for our team that's going through it. And then Carolina Panthers, Javion Sanders had a neck injury. He landed
Mm.
weird on his head, and he also had to go to the local hospital on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a good week for the Noggins. Romeo Dobbs for the Green Bay, he had a concussion. And he didn't play, blah blah blah. Okay, and then for the Colts, um Josh Downs had a shoulder injury, and then Ashton Doolin had an ankle surgery or ankle injury.
Jeez.
So they're even more short-handed. For the Philadelphia Eagles, Brandon Graham had a triceps injury. It's a season-ending injury, and he's 36. Um,
Let's put that into perspective. This is last season. Torres tricep while beating the hell out of Matthew Stafford last night. That's embarrassing.
um, Buccaneers, Jordan Whitehead. Um, it's suspected that he tore a pec, but we're not sure yet. Um, and that could be a season-ending injury, but we don't know yet. So it
Mhm.
could be, could not be. He's getting MRI today. Um, so those are pretty much the big ones.
Did
Uh,
Darius Slay pass concussion protocol? Because he left
oh
last night.
right, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Um, let's see, that was rough.
Yeah,
No, he
he took
has one.
a. Okay, so he's still in protocol then. Okay,
Yes.
because he took a pretty hard hit
Oh
from.
my God, that looked a little 70s too.
I think it was Hunter Long that hit him.
That was rough. I'm like, this is exactly what we've been working for, what,
Yeah,
15 years for rules against. Oh my God. He's like, I'll just tuck my head in and go for it. Like, anyway, um, so how I want to go over these games pretty quickly, is let's talk about the blowouts, I guess, first.
do we
The
have to?
Buccaneers and the Giants, no surprise there. Was Cutlets out there?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
being
okay.
trolled by Baker on his first touchdown.
Yeah, well. The 49ers and the Packers. Man, in a week where we won, I feel bad for all my division rivals. Like it's I mean, I when I saw that Brock Purdy was out, I was like, there's no
Yeah,
way. That was it.
I saw he was out,
San
and I was like,
Francisco
oh
was
boy.
in it for a quarter and a half. They looked competitive, and
Hmm.
then it was like Katie barred the door.
Yeah. Um, I guess the Cardinals Seahawks 6-16 was, 10-point difference. That was rough. The Cardinals didn't really show up. And then also like even I thought that it was a touchdown. Like that one that they ruled that wasn't. I don't know. Like I thought it was. I was like, "Hey, give them a touchdown," but even I'm not a ref, so um, Broncos, Raiders, no real big surprise there. Lions, Colts. I mean, we maybe thought that the Colts could do better than 6 points with 24, but it wasn't the biggest surprise. Uh, Patriots, Dolphins, 15-34. I don't think anybody expects anything out of the
Are the Dolphins
Patriots.
playing Drake May now?
I mean, the
Yes.
Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots.
Yeah, they're playing
Yeah.
Drake May. Yeah, he's
Okay.
he throws the ball well. He has no weapons and an offensive line that's terrible.
Okay.
Yes. He's eating too much grass to be able to do
Yeah,
much.
Okay.
Um, it was kind of shocking to see the Cowboys win 34-26 against the Commanders, but considering the injuries, possibly that was an impact. Or maybe they were just so embarrassed after last Monday night that they're like, we have to do something. Uh,
Yeah. That was an amazing game. Ryan, remember it was like 13-9
oh
or
yeah,
something
yeah. It
at
was
the end of the third
13-9 at
quarter,
the end of the third
and
quarter.
then
Yeah.
it just became like a touchdown fest.
Hmm.
I mean, every time Dallas gets behind, and they just let Dak drop back and fire. I mean, literally, he looks like the best quarterback in the land. You know, it's
Because
just when
they're
they try
down
to mix it up.
25.
Yeah, yeah, because the other team is dropping back 20, 25 yards,
Yeah,
in the prevent defense, he just all day long, just 10, 15, 10, 15, takes them straight down the field.
yeah. Well,
It's
yesterday
just
was Cooper
amazing how
Rush.
good. Yeah, yesterday it worked. Yeah.
the Eagles Rams, of course. I don't
Oh
want to rub
God,
too much salt in the winds there. Like I said, I feel bad for both of my division rivals,
it
all of
was a
them.
it was a great game for at least two and a half
Saquon.
quarters. Saquon ran 26 times for 255 yards.
Did you see the NFL? They have this on Twitter now. Their little blurb underneath the NFL says it's Saquon's world. We're just living in it. That
You know,
like the official NFL changed it.
there's a strong case for him
Wow.
to win MVP this year. To be honest,
Yeah. So it was Saquon's show,
he
including the injury was hilarious, the injury, because everybody was so worried and Sirianni was crapping himself, like concerned that, he was going to be out. And then we find out it's just the family jewels that he grabbed very
yeah
dramatically as he was leaving the field.
he
And we were
was
all like, oh, thank God.
he was held in check for quite a while, and then he broke off 270 yarders, and it was like, okay,
Yep.
that's game.
Um, And then not really a blowout, but I'm talking about any game that wasn't super close at this point. The Steelers and the Browns. That was kind of booty because obviously it's the first time Russ lost, and there's a part of me that worries that if Russ didn't win every game, then people will say, "Oh, he's washed and he'll get like kicked out again." But that's not going to be the case. But it just was a little anxiety for me.
It was a
But
snow game, so
yeah, which was wild at one point. Like it was so intense. And Jameis Winston, I love him after, his time in New Orleans. So, like, if they're gonna lose to anyone, like Jameis is so cool. But um, and he was like, I realized that him and Russ are more alike than I thought because they're both corny dads. And I didn't know that because Winston was like thanking God for the opportunity to play in the snow and because he was so excited because it was his first time and he was like thought it was so amazing and then um did like snow angels and ate the snow like it was very
ugh,
dramatic.
I probably wouldn't have done that, but okay.
Yeah, it
Well, I
was.
mean, Jameis was uh he was Florida State,
Hmm.
Tampa
Tampa
Bay,
Bay,
and New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind of makes
It was
sense
his
the first
first
snow
time, but the
game.
way he
Yeah.
displayed it was both religious and corny. When he was talking about his children and stuff
Hmm.
experiencing the snow, and I'm like, wow, him and Russ are like, cut from the same cloth, and I didn't even know. They're like the exact same.
As long
Um,
as Russ doesn't try to eat W's in the pregame speech, we'll be all right.
yeah, I didn't see him do any snow eating either, so that was a win. I don't think that's his vibe, but I mean, it does sometimes snow in Seattle, pretty rarely, but I don't think it's the first time he's seen it.
Does it
But we
rain more
certainly,
there, or does it rain a lot more?
yeah,
Than,
it really hardly ever significant. But I mean, it. Are you serious right now? Okay, it it does happen, but not that often. And we don't get like snowpocalypse. We did have the snowpocalypse like a couple years ago.
yeah.
But it's like every few years there's like a snowstorm, but they don't really play through it. Like it's not a blizzard like that. Anyway, we're sad with you when your team loses, and now we're
Oh,
going to
okay.
be like excited with Jay because his team won.
I was so excited for the Titans. I was
I
so excited for Will Levis.
Doesn't happen very
You
often,
know,
bub.
it does not, but
hmm
on the meltdown of a season that it's been for the two teams I follow, the Cowboys and the Titans, for them both to win on the same day.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
and not only that, but to win against division rivals,
hmm
who are having a much better year than them, and maybe not knock them out of the playoffs, but at least be a spoiler for their position. And Will
Yeah.
Levis had a lot of these. The local newspaper in Nashville has all these weird stats about how he
Mayonnaise.
compares with Super Bowl winners and all this kind of stuff. That to have like a 70% percentage passing, and a great quarterback rating, and still having taken 20 sacks in 3 consecutive games
Yeah.
is like the last 9 guys that did this, 8 went to Super Bowls. I thought there's such a narrow range of stats. You could do that for any stat in the world. I mean,
Yes.
it's like 20. All that 20 sacks means is that it's a combination of you having a crap offensive line and you having a crap sense of timing to get the ball out of your hands because you're in the stinking NFL. You're not playing at Kentucky where you're playing Western Kentucky and Missouri and Mercer and Georgia Southern, you know, one
Yes.
month of a year. You're playing against the big guys and you just got to throw it out of bounds.
Stats can be misleading.
And he won, but he still contributed to a pick six. How do you do that every week?
The NFL is an amazing place this season. We
play
have
the
seen
game,
some
Jay. You just
true
play the
things.
game.
Yeah, but very exciting. And we went from being number four in the division to being number one. Life comes at you fast in the NFC West. But as I say, it's not that nobody is leading because they're good. It's just because they're subpar more of the time. Um,
Whoever's healthier that week's gonna lead the division.
because it's a shit fest. Yeah, and we are one of the healthiest teams. I mean, the Cardinals are pretty healthy too, but they're the Cardinals. So yeah, nobody should be
Sucks,
proud
man.
of what's going on over there. That hot
Um,
mess
what
express.
what about the close games, Julie? Wasn't there a game with a field goal
Yeah,
at
there's
the end?
several.
Couple of them, yeah.
So, Vikings Bears, 30
Overtime.
to
Great game.
27.
Yeah, okay.
Chiefs Panthers, that one was shocking, 30 to 27.
Okay.
Okay, well those are the only two, but we
Okay.
had two separated by a field goal, and I don't know if anybody was expecting the Panthers to be that good and the Chiefs to be that bad.
Yeah.
The Chiefs usually play down to their competition, but Bryce Young did look good.
Yeah.
Looked good.
He's looked better since he's come back. I think we're getting near the bewitching hour. Does anyone have any last thoughts on the NFL or any games that they thought really stuck out to them before we shut it down for the week?
Well, all the neck stretchers, that was kind of rough. But let's talk about, we're going to have some Thanksgiving games. So while we eating that turkey, we're going to have a whole roster. Bears, Lions, that one could be something. Giants, Cowboys, disaster. I'll skip that one, probably.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, Dolphins, Packers could be something. And then we have Black Friday game, Raiders and Chiefs, which I'm like, maybe I'll just go shopping instead. So it's kind of like...
Yeah, I'm picking the Raiders in a big upset, so...
That would be cool.
I'm picking nobody because I won't be watching.
Yeah. Well, isn't it the first Black Friday game for the NFL?
No, they had one last year.
Yeah.
Oh, they did last year? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just like Julie. I was shopping that day, so sorry.
Just another money media machine is all it is.
Which is like,
true.
It's fine to me, but like at least have it be watchable.
Yeah.
Because half those games are so bad that they're like the ones at 1 o'clock that you just ignore happening.
Okay.
So so we have some unique scheduling this week. So
that's true.
Make sure to keep an eye out for the
4 days
Thanksgiving and Black Friday games.
So does anybody have anything they want to promote, including themselves?
Just us, because we made it to 1K.
Just
and
us,
we
man.
want to promote our fans because thank you so much.
Thanks everybody. I'm Ajax Allen at the Twitter machine, and I'll be crowing proudly about being an alma mater of a team that beat the #1 team in the country this week in basketball. That's all I've got.
And the Titans won in the same week.
Yeah, the Titans won. Yeah,
that's a lot of bragging rights. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding. Thank you for getting us over 1,000 again. We cannot thank you enough, and we will see you when we see you.
See you in the next week. Hopefully.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Ankle, shoulders, and brains.